Hi friends, my name is Kaselyn Gibbs, and today I'm going to be reading Little Beaver and the Echo. This story is all about an echo. Do you know what an echo is? An echo repeats whatever you say. So if I said, hello, the echo would answer, hello, just like I did. In this story, you have a very important job. You get to be the echo. And I have a friend who's going to help you out. Well, she was supposed to be here. I don't see her. My friend Allegra is always late. Do you think you could help me call her so she could get here and help us with our story? On the count of 3, we're going to say, Allegra, so she can come and help us. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Allegra. There you are. Allegra, it's time to read Little Beaver and the Echo. I need your help. Can you help our friends do the echo parts in the book?
Absolutely.
Great. Let's get started. Little Beaver lived all alone by the edge of a big pond. He didn't have any brothers. He didn't have any sisters. Worst of all, he didn't have any friends. One day, sitting by the side of the pond, he began to cry. He cried out loud. Then he cried louder. Suddenly, he heard something very strange. On the other side of the pond, someone else was crying too. Little Beaver stopped crying and listened. The other crying stopped too. Little Beaver was all alone again. Boo-hoo, he said.
Boo-hoo,
said the voice from across the pond. Wah, said Little Beaver.
wah.
Said the voice from across the pond. Little Beaver stopped crying. Hello, he called.
Hello,
Said the voice from across the pond. Why are you crying? Asked Little Beaver.
why are you crying?
Asked the voice from across the pond. Little Beaver thought for a moment. I'm lonely, he said.
I'm lonely.
I need a friend,
I need a friend.
said the voice from across the pond. Little Beaver couldn't believe it. On the other side of the pond was somebody else who was sad and needed a friend. He got right into his boat and set off to find him. It was a big pond. He paddled and paddled. Then he saw a young duck swimming in circles all by himself. I'm looking for someone who needs a friend, said Little Beaver. Was it you who was crying? I do need a friend, said the duck. But it wasn't me who was crying. I'll be your friend, said Little Beaver. Come with me. So the duck jumped into the boat. They paddled and paddled. Then they saw a young otter sliding up and down the bank all by himself. "We're looking for someone who needs a friend," said little Beaver. "Was it you who was crying?" "I do need a friend," said the otter, "but it wasn't me who was crying." "We'll be your friends," said little Beaver and the duck. "Come with us." So the otter jumped into the boat. They paddled and paddled. Then they saw a young turtle sunning himself all alone on a rock. "We're looking for someone who needs a friend," said little Beaver. "Was it you who was crying?" "I do need a friend," said the turtle, "but it wasn't me who was crying." "We'll be your friends," said little Beaver and the duck and the otter. "Come with us." So the turtle jumped into the boat, and they paddled and paddled until they came to the end of the pond. Here lived a wise old beaver in a mud house, all alone. Little Beaver told him how they had paddled all around the pond to find out who was crying. "It wasn't the duck," he said. "It wasn't the otter. And it wasn't the turtle. Who was it?" "It was the echo," said the wise old beaver. "Where does he live?" asked little Beaver. "On the other side of the pond," said the wise old beaver. "No matter where you are, the echo is always across the pond from you." "Why is he crying?" said little Beaver. "When you are sad, the echo is sad," said the wise old beaver. "When you are happy, the echo is happy too." "But how can I find him and be his friend?" asked little Beaver. "He doesn't have any friends, and neither do I." "Except for me," said the duck. "And me," said the otter. "And me," said the turtle. Little Beaver looked surprised. "Yes," he said, "I have lots of friends now." And he was so happy that he said it again, very loudly. "I have lots of friends now." From across the pond, a voice answered,
I have lots of friends now.
"You see," said the wise old beaver, "when you're happy, the echo is happy. When you have friends, he has friends too." "Hooray!" shouted little Beaver and the duck and the otter and the turtle all together. And the echo shouted back to them,
Hooray!
The end. Thank you so much for reading Little Beaver and the Echo with me today. And Allegra, thank you for helping us with our echo part. Let's all say bye to Allegra. Bye, Allegra. Thanks for joining me. Bye, friends.
Hello, my name is Joan, and I'm going to be reading to you one of my favorite books, The Teacher from the Black Lagoon. It's written by Mike Fowler and pictures by Jared Lee. It's the first day of school. I wonder who my teacher is. liar, Mr. Smith has dandruff and warts. And Mrs. Jones has a whip and a wig. But Mrs. Green is supposed to be a real monster. Oh my, I have her. Mrs. Green, room 109. What a bummer. I sit at my desk. I fold my hands. I close my eyes. I'm too young to die. Suddenly, a shadow covers the door. It opens. In slithers Mrs. Green. She's really green. She has a tail. She scratches her name on the blackboard with her claws. Freddie Jones throws a spitball. She curls up her lips and breathes fire at him, and Freddie's gone. There's just a little pile of ashes on his desk. Talk about bad breath, giggles Eric Porter. She slithers over, unscrews his head, and puts it on the globe stand. I bet she gives homework the first day of school. Your homework for today, grins Mrs. Green, smoke rising from her nostrils, is page 1 to 200 in your math book. All the fraction problems. We've never had fractions, shouts Derek Bloom. Come up here, she beckons with her claw. Derek stands by her desk. This is a whole boy, she smirks. She takes a big bite. This is a half of boy. Now you've had fractions. Doris Foodle cracks her gum. Mrs. Green swallows her in one gulp. No chewing in class, she smiles. Mr. Bender, the principal, sticks his head in. Keep up the good work, he nods and closes the door. I wish I could get sent to the principal's office. Let's call the roll, cackles Mrs. Green. Freddie Jones is absent. Derek Bloom is half here. Eric Porter is here and there. Doris Foodle is digesting. What about spelling? Shouts Randy Potts. Spelling can be fun, beams Mrs. Green, wiggling her fingers at him. Abracadabra kazam. That's tough to spell, says Randy. Suddenly there's a flash of light, a puff of smoke, and Randy is a frog. Penny Weber raises her hand. Can I go to the nurse? She whines. What's wrong? Said Mrs. Green. I have a huge headache, says Penny. Mrs. Green wiggles her fingers. There's another flash of light, and Penny's head is the size of a pin. Better? Asks Mrs. Green. Now it's nap time. Everyone who still has one, put your head on your desk. I hope I make it to recess. Sweet dreams, she cackles as I close my eyes. Suddenly, the bell rings. I wake up. There's a pretty woman writing her name on the blackboard. She has real skin and no tail. I'm Mrs. Green, your teacher, she smiles. I jump out of my seat, run up, and hug her. Well, thank you, she says. I'm glad to be here. Not as glad as I am. The end. Now, this book is just the first in a series of books written by the same author. There's The Class from the Black Lagoon, The Custodian from the Black Lagoon, The Librarian from the Black Lagoon, The Bully from the Black Lagoon, The Music Teacher from the Black Lagoon, The School Bus Driver from the Black Lagoon, The School Nurse from the Black Lagoon, The School Secretary from the Black Lagoon, and The Bully from the Black Lagoon. So if you enjoyed it, you can get one of these books and continue reading about the Black Lagoon.
Hi, my name is Natalie Voie, and today I'm going to read for you Walter the Farting Dog by William Cotswinkle and Glenn Murray. Betty and Billy brought Walter home from the dog pound. "Nobody wanted him," said Billy. "But we love him," said Betty. "Well, he smells awful," said their mother. "I think you better give him a bath." Mother walked in and said, "He still smells awful." And that's when they got the first clue. The telltale bubbles in the bath water. "He's probably just a little nervous," said Mother, hopefully. "His stomach must be upset." But Walter's stomach wasn't upset. Walter's stomach was fine. He felt perfectly normal. He just farted a lot. He did it when he bathed. He did it when he played with Betty and Billy. He did it when he walked around the house. He did it in the dining room. He did it in the kitchen. And he did it in his sleep. "That dog farts morning, noon, and night," said Father. "He can't help it, Daddy," said Betty and Billy. They didn't mind Walter's farts. "So what if he farts?" Billy said to Betty when they were alone in their room with Walter. Betty agreed. Walter agreed too. He sat there looking innocently around, farting. "Take him to the vet," said Father. "Farting," said the vet, "or rectal flatulence, as we say in the medical profession," and prescribed a change in diet. They gave Walter every kind of dog food. He farted. They tried him on cat food. They gave him hot dogs, hamburgers, and lettuce and tomato sandwiches. They gave him fried chicken. They gave him rabbit food. They made him a vegetarian. "No matter what that dog eats, he turns it into farts," roared Father. Walter got the blame for everybody else's farts, too. If Uncle Irv let one slip, he just went and stood near Walter. Then all he had to say was, "Walter," and everyone would look at poor Walter. "He has to go back to the pound," said Father. "No, Daddy, please," begged Betty and Billy. "Don't send Walter away." "He goes tomorrow," said Father. They pleaded. Walter farted. It was all over. That night, Betty and Billy cried in their beds, and Walter looked at them unhappily. "Oh, Walter," said Betty, You've got to stop farting. Because Father is going to send you back to the pound tomorrow, said Billy. Walter knew how serious the situation was. He'd never seen Betty and Billy again. He resolved to hold in his farts forever. When Betty and Billy fell asleep, he walked down to the kitchen to see if there was anything around to eat. He managed to open the cupboard door with his nose and found the 25-pound bag of low-fart dog biscuits the vet had prescribed for him, which had made him fart more. Even though he knew they made him fart more, he couldn't resist. He ate the entire bag. Very tasty, said Walter to himself. And then he went and laid down on the couch. A gigantic gas bubble began to build inside him. This is going to be trouble, he said to himself, nervously. He was afraid of what might happen if he let it go. He thought maybe the house would explode, so he kept it in. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was torture. But he had resolved never to fart again. His future depended on it. As he lay there, with his tail wrapped tightly between his legs, he heard a noise at the window. He watched it slowly open. A pair of burglars came through. They dropped silently into the kitchen. "Watch out for that dog," said one of the burglars. "He won't bite," said the other. "He's a wimp." Walter might have bitten them, except he was so filled with gas he couldn't move. They tied a rag around his snout so he couldn't bark. "Okay," whispered the first burglar. "Let's clear the place out." They took everything they could get their hands on. Walter wanted to stop them, but he was having unbearable gas pains. He rolled on his back and waved his paws in the air. He gnashed his teeth. "We've got it all," said the second burglar. "Let's go." That's when Walter let it fly. It was the worst fart of his life. It made a tremendous noise and shot him across the room. A hideous cloud filled the air. The burglars clutched their throats, unable to breathe. With tears in their eyes, they raced for the window. They tried to grab their bag with all the valuables in it, but their arms were too weak. "Let's get out of here!" They jumped out the window and ran up the block, choking and gasping for air. Still blinded by Walter's attack, they stepped into the headlights of an approaching police officer. "Hold it right there," said the policeman. When Father and Mother came down in the morning, they found the open window, and they saw the bag with their valuables in it, and Walter was sitting beside it. He still had the rag tied around his snout. You'd have to say he looked heroic. "He saved the silverware!" cried Mother. "He saved the VCR!" cried Father. "Good dog, Walter. You're our dog, even if you do fart all the time." And so the family learned to live with Walter, the hero dog. And that's the end of our tale. And the very last page is too good to not share. It is Walter's Wonder Park, 100% natural gas powered. And that is officially the end.